Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to another exciting episode of Chronicles of a Modern Day Samurai. I am your host, as always, Zeus Kang. I hope that doesn't change. Super excited today. Today, we're going to be talking about the things I wish I knew as a first-time dad. All right, number one, sleep. This one is on top of my list. I used to love getting my rest and my sleep because I'm very active, I work out a lot, and my life is very physically demanding. So sleep was a huge part of my life because I need the recovery in order to have the lifestyle that I do. Now, having a kid, we definitely underestimated the power of sleep. Obviously as a newborn, the kids don't have a set sleeping pattern yet. So it is recommended that you sleep and you nap and you get the rest when you're able to. Now, this may mean that you take naps alongside your baby. So if your baby's napping, maybe you get just a 30, 45 minute, 1 hour if you're lucky nap, and that'll help you maintain the energy that you need in order to carry out your business and go to work and do everything you need to take care of your child. This is something that I think a lot of people underestimate as a new parent. As a new father, I certainly did because, again, with the lifestyle that I have, I need speedy recovery in order to be able to go and do it again. So take sleep, get rest, any chance that you get. Again, as I mentioned before, it's going to be nearly impossible for you to get that full 8 hours of sleep at night. And if you do, and if you're a parent out there and you do, congratulations. You've hit the baby jackpot, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with your baby. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just setting the expectations early on that you're not going to be able to get the same sleep pattern as you do when you were without a kid. You're gonna very rarely be able to get into your REM sleep, your deep sleep. So just take that into consideration. So again, as and when the sleep and the rest opportunity is available, you need to take advantage of it. It may come in little pockets of naps throughout the day, or it might be changing the rotation of who takes the baby on at night. That has to be communicated clearly with your partner, whether it's your wife or your husband, but clear communication and to be able to get rest when you can. Number two, guilt. Guilt is something that I didn't even know was going to make my list before I had a baby. Now, you're going to feel guilty on a lot of different things. You're going to feel guilty that the baby's crying. You're going to be asking yourself, well, am I doing this right? Especially as a new parent, you're not going to know what is right or wrong. And the truth is, there's no right or wrong. Every baby is different. Every family dynamic is different. Every situation is different. So don't feel guilty. Do the best that you can. If you need help, ask. There's a lot of people out there. I'm sure you have friends or family that have had kids before. You may ask your parents, but ask if you have questions, if you're really concerned. But do the best you can and don't feel guilty if things aren't going to plan. The truth is, there's no such thing as a plan. This isn't something that has a manual that comes with it, right, guys? So don't feel guilty. Take a little bit of pressure off your shoulder, and know that as long as you do your best, you're doing fine. The baby will grow up healthy and happy, and that's the most important thing. Number three on the list is take your me time. Now, what do I mean by that? I know we're parents, we're co-parents. If you're a single parent out there, that's okay as well. It's a little bit more challenging, obviously. But if you're out there and you have a husband or a wife that can help out, you still have to be able to take your me time. You have to communicate with your partner and say, hey, listen, this is an important part of parenting. Because if you guys full throttle, the both of you guys, and you guys co-parent full time, you guys are gonna burn out. So make sure that you communicate with your partner and you take your me time. Now, your me time could be whatever you want to do. If you enjoy reading, if you enjoy working out, if you enjoy just walking to the park or getting some air, you have to take this time. I know you're going to be reluctant in the beginning because you're going to want to be there for your baby all the time, but that's probably not the best thing for your child, and it's not the best thing for you. You can't give your child love if you're exhausted. You can't give your child happiness and joy and energy if you just cannot physically. So make sure that you take your me time every single day. Now, this may be 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Now, that'll depend on your situation. But you have to make sure that you cut out this allotted time for yourself. Now, this gives you not only a physical break from taking care of your baby, but it also gives you, more importantly, a mental and a spiritual break to be able to continue to take care of your child and to love your child. Again, this is super important that you communicate when you're taking this time with your partner, and you need to reciprocate it. If you're taking your me time as well, you need to offer and say, hey, husband, hey, wife, hey, John, hey, Julie, you've been going at it all day. You seem a little bit tired. Go out for a walk, go to the gym, get in a workout, do whatever. It's so important to make sure that you do take that me time for yourself. Staying calm. Now, no matter what happens, guys, it's gonna happen. My kid has fallen on his head and his face and his knees and his elbows. He's a boy. He's a crazy boy, and we love him for it. And in the beginning, we used to freak out because we thought, man, like he's gonna hurt himself. He's gonna get a concussion. You know, I never thought that I would be this kind of parent. I always thought, hey, let him do his thing. He's a boy. He'll get hurt. But when I actually became a parent, like I was the overbearing, like helicopter dad. Like I couldn't even believe it. But I had to learn to stay calm. They're kids. They're going to fall. They're going to hurt themselves. It's a part of the process. I'm sure you can imagine when you were a child, you did the same. Now, of course, you don't want to be negligent. You don't want to let your kid, touch a hot stove or anything like that and like to hurt themselves majorly. But just stay calm no matter what happens. Now, if it's a medical emergency, obviously, do what you need to do to contact the necessary authorities and get medical attention. But even in that case, stay calm, because being able to stay calm is going to help you make the best decision as to what to do next. If you start freaking out, the baby's going to freak out, your partner's going to freak out, and it's just not going to help you do anything for good. So make sure you stay calm no matter what happens. I'm sure, and I'm 9.9 times out of 10, staying calm in a situation that would warrant to freak out is going to help you get out of that situation a little bit better. Understand that you're not alone. If you have parents or family or friend around, seek help. You're not alone. The other thing is, if you think that you're going through this alone and you're having these stresses and these anxieties and even, feelings of depression, guess what? I'm here to tell you that you're not alone in this. Most parents out there, including us, have gone through this, and we feel the same way. So if you feel exhausted and you're tired and you're questioning life and all that, you're like, oh my God, like I can't, is this the right thing for me? Am I a good parent? If you're having these questions, listen to me now, read my lips. It is okay. Other parents are going through the exact same feelings and situation you are. So rest assured, there's nothing wrong with you. You're doing a great job. All parents go through the same thing. So don't worry. The next thing is, it's okay to make mistakes. Again, you're a first-time parent, or you're going to be a first-time parent. Your partner is pregnant. You're expected to. It's okay to make mistakes, and you're going to make mistakes. Making mistakes, not only in terms of taking care of baby, but in life as well, is the way we learn. There's no one out there that does everything perfect. So again, take that burden and that stress off your shoulder early on and accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes. Make the mistake, but just learn from it. You don't want to obviously be making the same mistake multiple times, but make the mistake, learn from it so that it doesn't happen again, or the odds of it happening again are very low. Again, this is how we learn, guys. You need to stop putting so much pressure on yourself to think that you're going to do everything right, because for one, it's not going to happen. And secondly, you're going to stress yourself out and not help your situation. Sex life. Now, I know this is a very sensitive subject, and I was kind of reluctant to talk about it, but it is a real thing. We thought that before we had a baby that our sex life was going to remain the same. I mean, we've always had a great sex life without getting into too much detail. But I'll tell you what, guys, and again, we're not the only one, and you're not the only one. When you have a baby and you have a baby to take care of, or one baby or two baby, or how many children you have, your sex life will change. Now, again, results may vary. Again, if you're out there and your sex life hasn't changed from when you were a couple to when you guys had your baby, good for you. I think you're kind of the odd, you're kind of the rare breed out there. But I think for most of us who end up, going from a couple to having our first child, your sex life will ultimately change. It doesn't mean that it needs to stay that way forever. It just means that you guys need to communicate a little bit better as far as like, there may be some scheduling. I hate to say it, but when you're a couple and you're in the honeymoon phase or you're just dating, there really isn't that added variable. I mean, if you're feeling hot and bothered, I mean, you go at it, and that's when it happens, right? But with a child, you might not be able to. You just kind of lessen your window for when things like that can happen really diminishes. So, and then on the times that you do have where that opportunity might be a good time, you might not have energy. So again, as I mentioned before, maintaining the energy and communicating is so important, not only for the rest of your decision making, but also for your sex life. So make sure that you're helping each other, you're helping your partner relieve some of their burdens and taking over some of the tasks, so that when you have a little window of opportunity, you guys are both in the mood and you guys are happy and have the energy in order to have a decent sex life. Triggers. Now, I never thought, being a first-time father, that there would be triggers. I've considered myself kind of calm. Now, when I was growing up, I had a hairline trigger. I mean, my patience was very low, and it's something that I still struggle with now. It's something that I work on every day to have a little bit more patience. But patience is probably one of the most important things that you can have as far as skill sets in having a child, because if you don't have patience, boy, you're going to be upset, you're going to be angry, you're going to be irate all the time, and you don't want that, because that's not good. That's not good energy for your partner, that's not good energy for your child, and it's not good for you. So learn patience and be calm. Understand that there are triggers. For example, Levi, I don't know where this came from, but he loves pinching nipples, like everyone. So if you hold him, he's going straight for that nipple, and it's irritating. I mean, I'm holding him, trying to put him to sleep, and he's trying to give me a titty twister. And something inside me triggers, and I have to just take a deep breath, calm down, understand that he has no bad intentions. It's just what they do. So stay calm, understand that there are things that may trigger you. These are things that are going to be hidden. You may not expect it. It may come out of nowhere. It might be triggered through excessive crying. It may be triggered because the baby's, flipping and flapping and it hits you in the face, or you actually do get hurt, or pinching your nipples, whatever it is. And again, every child's going to differ. Every family is going to differ, but understand that there are going to be things that trigger you. These triggers are going to go a little bit deeper down than just being angry. They're going to maybe I don't know, and it's okay. And you have to understand that, and you have to expect this, that these triggers, again, are deep down. They might trigger and they might stimulate this feeling of wanting to hurt the child. Again, these feelings are normal. You obviously don't want to do it. Don't hurt your child, but understand that these feelings might come along, and it's a normal process. You just have to make sure that you're handling it and you're managing it well. Now, the babies don't know any better. They're babies. Imagine coming into a world where you know nothing, where everything you touch and see and taste is new. So I know it's very difficult to put yourself in the position for the baby, because we understand everything for the most part as far as what's going on in our world. We've been in this world for 20, 30, 40 years. This baby has been on earth for literally 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or however old your baby is. They don't know anything. So understand that, know that this is a new world for them. So everything is new for them. They're going to want to touch everything. Everything's going to go in their mouth. They're going to want to push things and throw things. Just understand that this is all a part of the process, and that they don't mean any harm. They don't mean to piss you off. They don't mean to upset you. They're not trying to get on your bad side. They don't know any better. So I think understanding that has helped me tremendously in not getting upset and staying calm. I actually, of course, I'm not saying I'm a perfect father. I mean, I do get upset and I do get angry, but a lot of the times when he does something, I can't help but laugh. I mean, when he's throwing and the food gets everywhere and I get like spaghetti on my hair and my face, it's easy to get upset. And half the time I do, but the other half, it's so funny. So if you can laugh at it and just make a joke out of it and just keep it real light, it'll really help you, and it'll really help your child just to kind of adapt to that, and it'll help him grow a lot easier. Now, this is something that I really, really underestimated, and I think my wife Christina as well, is accept that you're going to change from an independent person to someone you're going to have someone that's going to be really dependent on you. Your independence as an individual is going to change. Christina and I, before we met, were very independent. I did a lot of solo traveling on my own. If I wanted to go somewhere or see something or see someone or travel, I would just go. I had nothing tying me down, and that was something that I really, really valued. And same thing with my wife, Christina. She was very, She was very spontaneous, and we did a lot of spontaneous things together. And that was something that really, really was special in our relationship. Now, when we had a child, we can't just up and leave and be spontaneous. We can't just go out to the museum or go out to a movie or go out to dinner. It's not that easy. So understand and set the expectations very clear early on with your partner that your independence or lack thereof will change. And I think the sooner you guys have that conversation and say, okay, this is reality for us. We're not going to be as independent as we were before. We can't just spontaneously, book a trip to Paris for the weekend. It's important for you guys to talk about, and I think the earlier you guys have this conversation, the better off you guys will be. Accept help when help is offered. Now, I don't know about you guys, but we're the type to be really not accepting of help. We feel like, oh, we can handle it. We got this under control. We have been proven otherwise. So what I'm advising that you do is if you have the luxury of having your parents around or grandparents or family or friends, and they offer you help and say, hey, listen, like if you want to go out on a date night once a month, we'll watch your baby, for 4 or 5 hours so you can go watch a movie or go out for dinner. Take the opportunity and say, thank you so much, and take the opportunity, because what that's going to do, it's going to allow you time for yourselves as a couple. Because again, just because you have a baby doesn't mean that you guys are still not partners. It doesn't still mean that you don't, you negate and you forget about the relationship that you have with your wife or your husband. So if that opportunity and that tremendously gracious offer comes around, again, where your grandparents or your parents or your friends offer to watch your child, again, not all the time, maybe you don't want to make this a routine thing until they get a little bit older. But when they, when you're comfortable with the child and you're comfortable with whoever's making this offer, take them up on their offer and say, you know what, that'd be a great idea. I really appreciate it. And on Saturday, go out for a dinner. Again, it might be just 2 or 3 hours away when you're not having to worry about your baby. It'll be tremendously helpful in making sure that relationship that you have with your partner is strong in order to take care of your baby. And I think that'll help tremendously, not only take care of your baby, but as a family as a whole. Social media. Now, everyone posts everything on social media nowadays. And we all know that people mostly post positive things. So when we look on social media and we're scrolling, when the baby's finally asleep and we're on the couch and we're looking on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is, we're scrolling and we see a lot of people that are having these tremendously perfect lives with their babies. They're sleeping 8 hours a day. They're always happy. They're going to the park. Understand that social media is not an accurate or a full picture of the situation. So my advice to you is understand that not all families are perfect. No family is perfect, as a matter of fact. So if you're going through these hardships of having challenges of feeding your child or putting your child to sleep, or they're doing something, or they're developing a habit that really bothers you, understand that other people are going through the same thing. Social media does not reflect in any way everything that's going on with their family. They're going through, I'm sure, similar challenges with their baby as well. So try to avoid, social media is a big part of our lives. I'm here on YouTube creating content. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram. But just understand, I think it'll help you tremendously, that not everything you see on social media is true. Again, not fully true. I think that'll help you kind of relieve and say, okay, okay, it's okay. We're having these troubles, we're having these challenges, but so does other families. Feeding. I've never had really a child in my life that I needed to take care of. I didn't have a tiny, tiny baby sister. I didn't really have cousins that I needed to take care of. So when we first got Levi, we thought he was going to be super hungry all the time and just eat. We didn't understand that if that feeding our child was going to be so challenging. Now, we always joke and say, man, human beings are so ungrateful. Because you look at like Discovery Channel and you see like animals out in the wild, right? They're just like desperate. They're just so ready to eat anything because they're hungry. Not true for human babies. They're going to be really picky. They're going to eat certain times. They're not going to eat certain times. You're going to make this gourmet meal, this healthy, organic meal that you spent like 30 minutes to an hour making for your child, and you're really excited. You put it on the table, and the next thing you know, he's smacking that spoon out of your hand, and the food's everywhere, and you're just like, what am I doing? And then there are going to be other days where they actually eat the whole food. They might eat just a couple of strawberries, or they might eat just a couple of bites of a meal. It doesn't mean that they're not hungry. It doesn't mean that they have any bad intentions. It's just a part of the process. And the sooner you accept the fact that like eating is going to be a challenge for a child, I think it's going to provide a lot more relief and less stress for you. Because I know even now, this is a really big source of stress for us when our child doesn't eat. We feel like, oh my God, he's gonna go hungry. He's not gonna grow. He's not gonna develop properly, and it stresses us out. So we've learned as a couple, as a family, to understand that, hey, listen, if he doesn't eat, then let's just give it a little bit of rest, and let's try back in a couple of hours. And you know what? In a couple hours, he's really hungry, and he ends up eating the whole thing without any trouble. So if you have trouble feeding your child, which you will, or most likely will, just like us, understand that this is normal. And if he doesn't eat, my advice would be to not force feed him, because that's gonna promote bad behavior. The relationship that the baby has with the food is gonna deteriorate. It's not gonna be something he enjoys. So just give it a break and put it aside and go play and go, whatever you wanna do with your baby. And then maybe in an hour or two, come back and try feeding him again or her again. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna wanna eat at that time. And if they don't, that's okay, try back. So you just have to stay consistent with it and stay persistent with it so that you don't give up. Take initiative in offering your partner help. Now, both of you guys are gonna be tired. Both of you guys are gonna be exhausted. Sleep is gonna be deprived. Rest is gonna be deprived. These are things that you guys are gonna be both going through collectively and as a unit and as individuals. So understand that, and understand that now. So if you turn the tables around and if your partner offered you and say, hey, listen, like go take a 1 hour nap. I mean, wouldn't that be great? I mean, you're watching this right now, and I'm sure, again, if you're a new parent or you're a parent soon to be, imagine the relief that brings. So be conscientious of that, and just be aware that your partner is going through the same stresses and challenges and exhaustion you are. So take the initiative and offer them help and say, hey, listen, you got dinner last night. Why don't I make dinner and put him to sleep? And then so you can get another, you can go on and just watch TV or read a book. Take the initiative to take some of that burden off your partner, and then they will reciprocate that to you, hopefully. And that'll create, again, just a much more positive experience. And I think it'll really help create that harmonious relationship that you as parents need in order to take care of your child properly. Last but not least, and very importantly, do not neglect your partner. What's gonna end up happening that we found out is you're gonna go from being a couple to being parents. Now, you guys are still a number of different things. You are still an individual. You may still be a daughter. You may still be a sister, a brother, a cousin, a coworker. You're a lot of things other than just being a mom and dad. Keep that in mind. I think a lot of people tend to think as soon as you become a parent, that defines who you are. And I think that's a big mistake, because we're a lot more than just parents. I'm a lot more than just being a father. I'm also a husband. I'm also a son. I'm also a business owner. So these are things that you have to continuously be aware of in your partner to help foster that relationship, that individuality as well. So you don't want to neglect who that person is. Again, you don't go. Again, my recommendation is don't go from thinking that they're your girlfriend or boyfriend, and now that after you have a child, now they're just a mother. Because the truth is, your partner is more than just a parent, a mother or a father. There's still a number of things. And it's still tremendously important that you help support your partner in whatever they want to accomplish outside of being a parent. Okay, guys, I hope that helped. I know it's a lot of information and it is going to be overwhelming, but it is going to be a-okay. Trust me. So just do the best you can. Make mistakes and talk with your partner. Make sure you're communicating well and make sure that you're just doing your best to be the best parent possible. At the end of the day, when all else fails, your child just needs your love. So make sure you're giving them love, make sure you're doing your best, and you'll be just fine. Your baby will be happy and growing up and healthy and everything else. So I hope that helped, guys. If that information was helpful, guys, make sure that you're subscribing and liking this video. It would help me tremendously so that I can make more content like this for you guys. And then until next time.